You're a witch." A chill that had nothing to do with the cool night air crept over my scalp. No one had ever called me a witch to my face before, though of course, I knew what I was. My entire life revolved around my glowing skin and the fear that the kingdom's most powerful warlock would discover it. Lord Darius was employed by the king himself, gathering mages and torturing them if they didn't do his bidding. I pulled Father's cloak tighter around myself, but it was futile. She already knew. I had wasted too much time getting up the nerve to leave the house after I found Mina's bed empty, wringing my hands at the window, wondering if she'd been kidnapped by drifters or lured into the forest by a ghost lantern. Then, once I was on the road, I had foolishly stopped to look at the devil's footprints, little white mushrooms that grew in pairs of two, resembling the cloven hooves of a demon. I'd seen them in daylight plenty of times, but never at night. They had caught my eye because their glow was so similar to my own. Oddly, Morgana's basket was full of the mushrooms. Her cornflower blue eyes and auburn hair were pale and otherworldly in their light. As if sensing my curiosity, she shifted the basket to her other hip. Morgana was one of the few people who lived outside the gates of the ancient village of Sylvan, like us. She was also my best friend Evran's mother, and the only other witch I knew. "I always wondered why your father moved you girls out here after your mother died," she said. "Now it all makes sense. But something tells me your father wouldn't be pleased to know you're outside, exposing yourself." She grabbed one of my hands and turned it over, examining it like a bruised apple at market. Against Morgana's dull skin, mine looked false, as if I wasn't a real person at all. I pulled my hand free as politely as possible. "I should go," she sighed. "Keep your head down, and pray you don't meet anyone on the road. Darius's spies are everywhere." My eyes widened in fear, and she chuckled to herself. "Not me, silly girl." I swallowed audibly. If there really were spies in Sylvan, Morgana was the most likely suspect. After all, she did work for Lord Darius. She might not be his servant by choice, but he was dangerous enough that no mage dared cross him. No mage who had lived to tell about it anyway. I was about to step around her when my eyes drifted to the basket once again. "I thought the devil's footprints were poisonous." Her lips curved in a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Oh, they are? Highly. Fortunately, I don't plan on eating them. Good luck, Liora." I nodded and hurried to the stone steps leading down to Sylvan, which was tucked away in a gorge, hidden from the roving eyes of river pirates. Above me, a heavy iron chain was suspended between the cliffs. As far as I knew, Sylvan was the only village in Antala. Maybe the world, that could boast having attracted not one, but 2 falling stars. A fragment of the first had been melted into the shape of a 5-pointed star and hung from the chain. At night, it was only a glimmer overhead. The second star, my star, had disintegrated amid the flames when it landed. I wound my way silently through Sylvan's narrow streets, toward Father's shop. He and Adele, my older, more responsible sister, were likely the only ones working at this hour. Just as I quickened my pace, I heard a high-pitched shriek from somewhere above me. I looked up to where a lamp winked on in an apartment window, illuminating 2 silhouettes, then down to the shop on my left. The tailor's shop. Mina. Without thinking, I grabbed the cast-iron boot scraper sitting by the front door of the shop and hurled it through the window. Glass shattered, leaving a jagged hole that gaped like a mouth mid-scream. Heart racing, I flattened myself against the alcove by the door as a man shouted and a window screeched open. The tailor, a young man nearly as alluring as the fabrics he sold, poked his head out for a moment, then disappeared, likely heading downstairs to look for the culprit. I scurried to the nook in front of the butcher's, hoping my light would be hidden there.